Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the African Reform Movement channel, where we discuss everything African Reformation with an emphasis on Ghana. My name is Uche, and I'm your host for today. And as ever, we have a distinguished Dr. Nii and Widako with us. Today, the topic is the 2021 Census and Ecofed. So, and I normally just go through all the different housekeeping things, but I'm going to do that at the end because I want us to really give Dr. Nii time to really explain his vision for the 2020, his thoughts around the 2021 Census and Ecofed. So, Dr. Nii, I'm not going to take any of your time. Explain to us. Tell us your thoughts.
All right. Thank you very much, Uche. Before I will start the topic, I would want all of you to actually thank Uche for me. I mean, until April this year, I didn't know this woman. A friend of mine introduced her to me, and within a week, we started this series. You know, the last time I was in Ghana, that was not last time, when I launched my second set of books in April 2018, even journalists and things from Accra who came to the British Council in Accra, can we please have transport? They were asking for money. But Uche, how are you?
I'm going home. I'll be back in the morning.
Okay, good, beautiful. Yeah. Uche has blocked all her Saturdays. She doesn't do anything Saturday morning until she finishes with this program. And that is amazing because it is absolutely free. She's even shy to say anything funny. So I want you all to thank her for me. And for those of you who understand, she's like a woman who actually poured her most expensive oil. And like Jesus told the woman, she has made a memorial for herself. Wherever my story is told, Uche's name will be mentioned. Now, God willing, this December, I will launch a book in Ghana, the Fifth Republic and Fakefa, and Uche will be floridly acknowledged. So all Ghanaians, wherever you are, you have to thank this woman for me. Okay, now we go to the main business. Census 2021 and on last Thursday, we had our first COVID case in my hospital. Okay, now I'm not supposed to work this weekend, but my colleague, in fact, all the staff in the hospital have been stood down for 2 weeks. They got to do self-quarantine. So I'm just covering this weekend for my colleague because he was on the floor. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm dressed this way, because I'm actually in the doctor's room. I'm not supposed to be working today, but Let's go on now. Census 2021 and Ecofed. I'm sure most of you have seen or heard of the prelim figures for the census. I'll just say one thing. Those figures lack credibility. Okay? Those figures lack credibility. I'll take time and go through that proper at some stage. But those figures lack credibility. All right. If you look at them and you know, because I followed Ghana census from 1948, I have all the figures. It lacks credibility. Full stop. All right. But that's what you have now. So we're going to work with that. First slide, please.
Okay. Can you see it?
All right. Yes. So Census 2021, the overall figure for the population is 30,792,608. The highest region is Greater Accra with 17.7, and the lowest is Ahafo with 1.8, a ratio of 10.1. Now, just here, you understand why I blasted Akufo-Addo for saying that we have 6 new regions without regional hospitals. You are not going to build one regional hospital for 17.7 population and another regional hospital for 1.8 population. All right. There is no common sense in that. And it's the same throughout. Greater Accra of 17.7 has one regional hospital, which is Ridge. And now he's saying that, there are regions. These are not regions. These are tribal enclaves, 1.8% of the population. How can you make a range for 1.8% of population?
That's true.
Yeah. So now you understand where I was coming from the other time. Next slide. Oh, there we go. So here I've put the map of Ghana, the 16 regions map of Ghana, and I'm saying this is Ghana now. You can see the distribution. Greater Accra 17.7, Ashanti 17.6, Volta 5.4, OT 2.4, Northern 7.5, Northeast 2.1, Savannah 2.1, Upper East 4.9, 4.2, sorry. Upper West 2.9.
And this is millions. There's like 2 points. So, for example, like in Upper West, there's 2.9 million people. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Western 6.7. Western North 2.9. Central 9.3. Eastern 9.5. Ahafo 1.8. Bono is 2.9 and Bono is 3.9 and Bono 3.9. So basically, we have regions that are 17.6. Just a minute, please.
Okay.
Lucy. Good. You know, I'm in the doctor's room on the ward. I'm doing some interview.
Oh, no worries. There's just a young lady who's his ankle and foot. When you've got a minute to just come and...
Yeah. Okay, sure. All right. Yeah, I mean, it probably will need a tubic grip and probably come back tomorrow for X-ray. But I'll probably pop in. Yeah. All right. Look. Yeah. Anything. Oh, okay. Good. Beautiful. Okay, sure. No worries. Thank you. Yeah.
So you see then people see Dr. Nii, he's on call, but he's so passionate about these calls that he takes his time to bring us all of this wisdom. So please make sure you're taking advantage of it and make sure that you send your questions in because he's given up his time for this. As you can see, he's on call, but he's still here wanting to really do something for his country. So, props to you. This is amazing. I couldn't do two things at the same time. Not something this weighty.
Yeah. All right. So now we have an idea, the population distribution in the country called Ghana. All right. 17.7, 17.6, 9.5, 9.3, 7.5, 6.7, and it keeps going. Then 1.8, 2.1, 2.4, 2.9. I mean, what kind of a joke is that? You have some 17.7, some 1.8, some 2.1, and all this mess was man-made. It wasn't like that 4 years ago.
So can I just check, Dr. Nii, where did you get these figures from?
These figures, I got them from the census, which was released last week.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next slide, please. You understand what I'm saying better. Next slide.
Okay.
So these are the figures. Something is wrong here. All right. Can we go to the next slide?
Okay. Are you not seeing it?
Yeah. All right. Let's go back. I'm sure I missed one slide, but it's okay. Let's go back to that one.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I think I missed a slide. It doesn't matter. So the 5 new. What's that? What is 5 new regions? All right. Let's not stress too much about that. We have 6 new regions. Now, when you add up all the 6 new regions, you come to a figure of 15.2%.
Okay.
So all the new regions that were created, when you put all of them together, it's even less than the population of Ashanti region and Greater Accra. That tells you that all those regions are not necessary. Because you have one region which is bigger in terms of human population than all of the 6 put together. And that's the reason why they will have to be scrapped. Next slide. Oh, I missed something. I definitely have missed one thing.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to the next slide. I've missed one slide. This is very odd.
Okay, what's the slide you're looking for?
All right, don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so let's go to the slide before this. All right. So now we have a Ghana that has been partitioned into grossly unequal 16 regions. Nobody can make sense of the 16 regions. Okay. Because even the 10 regions were not coping. All these parts, for instance, the northern region, or the northern region, which has been sliced into three now, used to be, I think, 9.7%. At the time, it was 9.7%. Greater Accra was double that. So you don't understand why a region of 9.7 will be further divided. Now, Ecofed Ghana is looking at the whole thing scientifically and mathematically. How do we have equally populated regions to make easier planning so that whatever you do becomes a template for all of them? They're about the same size. Okay, so if you are building a hospital, you know that they are the same size, you'll be the same hospital. For a region or a state, for a district, whatever you want to do. So Ecofed comes in and says that instead of having 1.8 here and 17% there, we are going to have between 8 to 10% to represent a region or a state. And within a state, you're going to have 5 districts. All right, so that means that a district will be between 1.2 to 3%. You divide the 8 to 10 into 5. Okay. And each district will have 5 constituencies. Again, it means that each constituency is going to be 0.3 to 0.4% of the population. So we have the same constituency population across the country. So if each of them has one parliamentarian, then that parliamentarian is representing about the same number of people in parliament. Because as you have it now, some parliamentarians are representing 18,000 and others are representing 180,000. Okay. That's what happened in the last elections. Okay, it makes no sense. Next slide. So now, with the figures that the Ghana Statistical Service has released, I had to reconfigure them to make sure that they fit into that. And this is where Ecofed comes in. When you reconfigure the figures given, you're going to have 18.9% for the northern part. Okay, 18.9% for the northern part, and you're going to have 81.1% for the southern half. What I've done is that the 18.9, you are going to create 2 states from the 18.9. Lower Savannah, which is 9.6, which is going to be Savannah now and northern region. When you add Savannah to northern region, you get 9.6. Okay, and then you're going to have Upper Savannah, which is going to be northeast, upper west, and upper east. When you add those 3 together, you get 9.3. And you realize that both 9.3 and 9.6 are well within 8 to 10%. Okay, these two, when you add them together, or 9.3 is within the range of 8.8 to 10%. So it fits the region of a state, and 9.6 also the same. Then you come to Brong Ahafo, which used to be which used to be Brong Ahafo, which has been divided into 3. When you add Bono East, Bono, and Ahafo, you get 9.7.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you have 9.3, 9.6, 9.7. They all fit within the 8 to 10%. Then you come to Western. Western, if you add the Western now with the Western North, you get 9.5. That also sits well within the 8 to 10%. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all within the 8 to 10%. Then you come to Central. Central has not been divided, it's 9.3. And Eastern also has not been divided. Eastern is 9.5. So you can see that as we are talking, all these regions, when they are reconfigured to their natural state, they are all between 8 to 10%. They are all 9 point something as we speak now. So they are all within 8 to 10%. And this makes sense because if you build a hospital for 9.5 and you build the same hospital for 9.3, you haven't missed anything. They are about the same population. Now you know that if 9.5 has 10,000 spaces for children in class 1, you can build the same 10,000 of children in 9.3 for class 1 because the population is very, very similar. So you have one plan and it fits every region in the country. Now you come to the big one, Greater Accra. So Greater Accra is 17.7. And what's going to happen is that Accra is going to be a city state with a population of about 9%. And the other part of Greater Accra is going to another state on its own, with a population of 8.7. Now, when you split Greater Accra into two, you get 9 and 8.7. They are both within the 8 to 10% range. Okay. Then you go to Ashanti. Ashanti also, you have 17.6. We're going to have a city state around Kumasi, which is about 9%. And then the remainder of Ashanti becomes 8.6. That also is within the range of 8 to 10%. Now, the only one which is slightly below is Volta. When you add Volta from the census, is 7.8. But we can easily ignore that. It's almost 8%. So Volta also falls within the range of 8 to 10%. Oh, no. Hello. Yeah.
Now, we've had this work in the shower for over 20 minutes now for these burns.
While Dr. Nii's on the phone, I want to encourage you to start getting your questions ready to send it in
Yeah, go
live,
ahead,
so
please.
he'll be able to answer your questions live. Okay?
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just.
Yeah, I'm actually, don't worry, I'm actually on an external, what do you call that thing? Zoom. I'm doing a Zoom conference. So I'll come when I finish. All right. Just get him out, let him sit down, I'll come when I finish the Zoom conference. Otherwise, you can bring him here to the doctor's room on the ward. All right, so you should wait, all right? You should wait. I'll come in when I finish. Okay? There's something urgent. You should wait. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Go
back to your.
So, yeah.
Oops, let's go back to get your slides.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You really are busy today, aren't you, Dr. Nii?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, and we were on. Oops.
Yeah, so let's go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and get your slide. Just maybe 1 second. Okay. It was this one. Was it this one? No, we've done this one.
Yeah, we're here. All right, so now you can see in the center something written GCD. Now, GCD is a Ghana Capital District. As part of, you see, As we are now in Ghana, we have what they call all roads lead to Accra. Now, the all roads lead to Accra means that everybody, when the person leaves the country, any part of the country, the person ends up in Accra. According to statistical services, 63.4% when they leave their homes in Ghana, they end up in Accra. Now, the disaster we see in Accra is politically engineered. Okay, it's no Akan conspiracy to come and take over Accra from the Gans. It's a politically engineered structure that has made the whole country look to only one place for opportunities. Now, to decongest Accra and to let other places develop, we have developed Ecofed. But also within the same Ecofed plan, we're going to take the political capital, the administrative capital from Accra to somewhere between in the border between Brong-Ahafo, Northern Region, and Volta. Now, I've put it there because it's right at the center of Ghana, and it's equidistant from Kumasi and Accra. Kumasi, our cultural capital, and Accra, our economic capital, and also equidistant from there to Tamale. Tamale is going to host our Supreme Court, is going to be the judicial capital of Ghana. Now, this particular spot is protected on the east by the Volta River, and also the tributary of the Volta River protects its southern part and part of the northern part. So naturally, it's enclosed. You can call it internal peninsula or river, whatever, because it's partially enclosed within the land by our river Volta system. And I can tell you, it's going to be an amazing place. Now, I'm calling it Ghana Capital District because here in Australia, our capital is called Canberra, and it's also called Australian Capital Territory, ACT. And this place is going to manage and control like we do in Canberra. You people will have to come and see what Canberra looks like. So Ecofed is taking care of everything. We have Accra as our economic capital. We have Kumasi as our cultural capital. We have the GCD as our administrative capital. And we have Tamale as our judicial capital. Next slide, please.
Okay. Just before going, how easy would it be to do something like this? Transfer the capital from Accra to this new place here, the Ghana Capital District. How smooth a transition will that be?
It will take time, minimum 4 years to get a basic infrastructure in place. But it shouldn't be too hard because it's right in the middle of Ghana. And also, geographically, it's in the transition zone. The transition zone is where the Sahel, the savannah begins, where the forest ends and the savannah begins. So it's not dense forest, so it's going to be very easy to clear and put buildings there. I'm going to talk more about it at a later stage. The basic infrastructure, what will be there. But for today, I'm just trying to say and tell people the way we can use these sensors to develop the Ecofed that I've been talking about forever. We have the figures now. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So there we go. I've just written here the new state. We have Accra, Kumasi as city states. The rest of Greater Accra and the rest of Ashanti will be states on themselves. Then we have Lower and Upper Savannah. The old Western region, BA and Northern region will be restored. Then Central region and Eastern region, they've not been divided. So status quo remains. And then we have the Ghana Capital District, who is going to be a district of about 500 to 600,000 people, nothing more than that. Next slide, please. Oh, okay, yeah. Kill Accra, the PACE capital. I know PACE. PACE is political, administrative, commercial, and economic. This is what Accra is today, all right? There's no, if you go to South Africa, the administrative capital is Pretoria. The parliamentary capital is Cape Town. The economic capital is Johannesburg. And the judicial capital is Bloemfontein. You don't have all of them at one place. And so because of that, all these regions are well supported by a good number of human beings. If you bring all of them to one place, all roads will lead to that place. There will be over congestion and the periphery will die. Everybody will come in there for opportunities. Okay. When you come to Australia, we have our administrative capital in Canberra. Our economic capital is Sydney, and our cultural capital is Melbourne. All right. Next slide.
Sorry, before you go, where will the administrative capital be under the Ecofed plan?
The what?
Where will the administrative capital be under the Ecofed plan? You've got economic, cultural, political, and judiciary, but where are the
Administrative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, next slide. Okay, so now key features of the Ecofed state is that state will be responsible for health, education, youth and sports, law and order, power and water, agriculture and industries, then housing, infrastructure, and transport. So these are the core services that people need, and they cannot be left with the national government, because we know that all these things have failed in our country. These things will be given to each state to manage. Most of the funding will come from the VAT collected. So when the central government collects the VAT, then it will share it according to population. So if you are 9%, you get 9% of the VAT.
Mm-hmm.
If you are 10%, you get 10% of the VAT. If you are 8%, you get 8% of the VAT. Then secondly, another source of income will be income tax. The income tax, as we speak now, the central government collects all income tax in Ghana. But Ecofed comes with a bit of financial autonomy too, that the states will collect the income tax, but they will keep between 25 to 50%, and then the remainder will be sent to Accra. So for instance, to the national government. So for instance, Accra and Kumasi will retain 25%. The northern regions and Volta will retain 50%. And the other regions in between retain 37.5% of the income tax they collect. And I'm saying that because the regions have different economic strengths. So those which are a bit more endowed will give them, now this is going to run for only 20 years. After 20 years, all of them come to 25%. Because we expect that within 20 years, they're going to catch up Accra. That's the whole idea. Okay.
But then if they don't catch up, what then?
Well, they have to catch up. Because you don't feel that we were born day zero, we don't live our parents forever. You got to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
It's their responsibility.
But I mean, I hear that. I mean, I know that the expectation is that they should, bearing in mind everything that's going on. But what if someone a particular area doesn't? What contingencies you place to do that?
You have to live with the 25%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to live with 25% because you'll be giving everything to catch up. That's why it's important, and that's why I like competitive federalism. Because in this system, you know there's a responsibility to you towards your own people. So you have to be giving all the assistance. I'll talk about it a bit more. For instance, the northern part of Ghana and Volta will declare, they will give them 20 years of what do you call that thing? Special economic zone, where there will be no taxes, incentives for people to move in there. What do you call them? Company things to move in there to invest. But when they invest in those regions, there will be no company taxes. We give them those reliefs to try and catch up. If after all that for 20 years they don't catch up, they got to leave because nobody should feed people forever. Mm-hmm. Next slide.
Okay.
Now, why am I saying this? To what end? When we have Ecofed and they are equally funded, then it means that we can have multi-city development. So my model is multi-city development rather than the one city development that we have now, where everything comes to Accra, because they are equally funded.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They are equally funded. So at the same time, if Accra receives 9% of VAT and Tamale receives 9% of VAT, there is no basis for Tamale to lag behind after 20 years.
Would it not depend though on how can I put it? Let's just say is it particularly?
Yeah, well, this is what I'm coming to.
Okay.
The nation is bridging the gap. Okay.
Okay.
Now, bridging the gap means that if, for instance, the Accra state is 9%, but it has 3,000 hospital beds, then it means that the baseline for the country is that every 9% should have 3,000 hospital beds. So we will take time to develop all these regions to the same. So you have to bridge the gap between Accra and the other regions.
Right.
Yeah, and once you've done that, then you know that that's the base of the multi-city development. If Accra has 100,000 spaces for children in primary school, then it means that every region with the same population, you have the same number. If it is not there, then you have to bridge the gap.
Okay.
And that is why the logo, the motto for ARM is bridging the gap.
Okay.
But it's a lot easier when the populations are the same. It's very easy to bridge because you know that the same people need the same level of service. So I know that's what you're coming to. Now, once you fund them, now the bridging the gap is not going to come from VAT funding. The bridging the gap will come from bringing the gap fund that will rest with the Council of State, where all the states meet every 3 months. So before we start, that's the development plan. You say, okay, we need the developmental deficit is so much here, we need to catch up. And the state will bring its inventory of things it has. Then we will say, okay, to catch up will take 8 years, will take 10 years, but this is how we are going to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So now we'll definitely finish all that in 10 years, I know. And so from 10 to 20 years is the grace period for consolidation. After 20 years, all these failures will disappear. It cannot continue forever. Okay. And the third, to what end? To what end means that you are going to give fair opportunity to every Ghanaian everywhere. Nobody needs to come to Accra to find opportunities for himself. So this is the fundamental principles of Ecofed and multi-city development.
Got it.
And now we have the figures to actually divide the country with common sense. Next slide, please.
That's the final slide.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Okay. What's it?
That's it.
Oh, is that the correct? Oh, I missed one slide. That's why it's a bit too short for me. All right. So now we have come to this point. If you guys will give me 5 minutes, I'll go and see a patient and come back immediately. All right. So you can be chatting with Uche, and you can put down all your questions and comments. I'll come back shortly.
Okay. So everybody, thank you for logging on. If you, based upon what Dr. Nii has said, if you can start putting together some questions for him to answer when he comes back. So far I've got many comments, which is great, but I know he would like some questions. Are there any questions you have? So for example, with regards to the new the new capital city he was referring to, were there any questions that came to your mind with regards to that? I know he's going to go into it in a bit more depth later on, but if there are any questions you have with regards to that, that'd be good. Any questions about the development of the different cities? Any questions about how it might impact Accra if you have multi-city development and then people are kind of they're encouraged to go back to other places, basically? Do you have any questions with regard to that? How such a plan would impact Accra? Are there any questions you have around that? Just have a think and see if there's any questions you can have for Dr. Nii. I'll just go for a few of these. Larby Collins said, thank you so much, Uche. God bless you. God bless you too. Thank you so much, Larby Collins, for logging on as often as you have done and leaving comments. Much appreciated. Shika, you've said it's very ambitious to move the capital away from Accra, although your plan makes sense. I imagine there will be major resistance. I'm trying to think about what they did in Nigeria, because I know that obviously we know that Lagos was the capital, but it's now Abuja. I must admit, I was not paying attention when that happened, but I know there would have been some kind of upheaval, some kind of resistance to that, because it's been Lagos forever, and then they moved it to Abuja. So That would be the other kind of similarity I can draw. But I need to do some research as to what exactly happened during that time. But it's been done, but I'm sure it wasn't met without any kind of resistance from the people. That's what I mean. I'm sure there was. And Hubert, like you says, this is even a more fair distribution than what is in Europe and North America. Okay, I'll let Dr. Nii see that one. Yeah. So all of these things, this is what I like about what Dr. Nii is doing. He's quite clearly sat and thought about it. He's thought about, what would a healthy Ghana look like? What would it take to make Ghana healthy? What examples can other African countries look at and take away from themselves? It all does make sense. I know it's not going to be easy. Obviously, we know that. But at least someone has taken the time to sit and think about what it would look like. What could Ghana look like? What can Africa look like if we applied certain principles, if we rearranged and restructured in certain ways? So that's good. This question, Labi, is something I spoke to Dr. Nii about with regards to changing the capital. My question was about an international airport, but I'll let him speak to you about that. I'm not sure about each region, but it's worth asking. I know that over here in London, we have London Heathrow, we have Gatwick, we have City Airports. We have the three main ones. And even like Gatwick, you can argue, isn't really London. They've kind of bunched it together, kind of around London. So we just have three main hubs in London, all that serve London. And outside, you have one that serves Birmingham, one that serves Manchester. There's Luton Airport and places like that. So each region, I'm not sure. Well, it depends. It depends what Dr. Nii sees, but I'll definitely put that question to him. Definitely. Okay. So for those of you who've been watching for a long time, how would you like to contribute to what's actually going on? Like, I know that I've been seeing a lot of different YouTube videos about people who are repatriating from different parts of the world back to Ghana or back to their country of origin to try and make a contribution with the skills they've acquired from being a diaspora. Do any of you have any kind of aspirations of that nature? I'd be interested to hear.
Right. So
hi, Dr. Nii. So just gone through a few of the comments here. Labi said, "Thank you so much, Uche. God bless you." I thanked him for that. Says that one. Sheikah said, "It's very ambitious to move the capital away from Accra, although your plan makes sense. I imagine there'll be major resistance." I spoke of that. Lagos was originally the capital of
Nigeria. The reason coming from where? From Accra people or from where? Where do you think the reason will come from?
What's the point? I was trying to remember what the situation was like when they changed Lagos from being the capital to Abuja being the capital. I don't quite remember if there was any resistance. I would imagine there would have been, but I don't quite remember.
No,
but it's been done.
Lagos is still the economic capital of Nigeria, though. Abuja is just the political capital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lagos is still there, just like Ivory Coast. The problem Hufo Buani had with Yamoussoukro was that he actually came from Yamoussoukro. So he actually moved the capital, the political capital from Abidjan to his hometown. Okay, in my case, it's the other way around.
Okay. Sheikah said, resistance by the people in general, especially those who benefit from Accra being the capital.
Well, I don't think so, because what people will have to understand is that Accra is just about 0.5% of Ghana land surface, and it cannot host 20%. It's just not sustainable. All right. And people, what's going to happen is that there's nothing those people, because it's still the economic capital. What's going to happen? We're going to deconsider it politically. Embassies and stuff like that will move to that place. Of course, that place also deserves to be developed. And if anybody wants to do what he's doing in Accra, the person can also go there, but it's going to be completely owned by government, and development will only be issued out to government well planned, like it's done in Canberra. Before Canberra was made a capital, Melbourne was the capital. And they had to find a way of getting the capital between Melbourne and Sydney. Because they were, Sydney didn't like Melbourne be the capital. Melbourne didn't even like the capital to be moved. So they compromised, and Canberra was created in the middle of Sydney and Melbourne. All right. This one too, the political capital is equidistant from Accra and Kumasi. And if one believes that you're going to have a policy that you get 100% people to support, then that is major fantasy. Some people, but the resistance is not going to be major the resistance. We will move to the center.
Okay. Right. Hubert Bader said, this is even a more fair distribution than what is in Europe and North America.
Yes, because we have decided to politically engineer Ghana in a way that people will have fair opportunity wherever they are. You see, there are always tensions and things in North America and Europe because of the haves and have-nots. We want to give everybody a fair chance. Now, a fair chance doesn't mean that the outcome will be the same. The role of government is to give equal input. Okay? The output will depend on the individual. When you are in a team, you all give it the same time to practice. Okay? How well you do depends on your talent, your personal hard work. Because the moment you try to control input and output, you become a communist, and I cannot stand that. There's nothing about communism that I like in any form or shape. Give people a fair chance, and let's see the outcome. Give the regions a fair chance. Give districts a fair chance, and let's see the outcome. Because that's the only way. We all went to school. Me and my siblings, we all went to school. You and your siblings, you all went to school. Probably the same school. All right, probably the same school. But the outcomes are different. That's how nature works. When you want to force the outcome, that's socialism, that's communism, and it has not helped anybody. But give everybody a fair chance. And that's the fundamental principle of Ecofed. Like I said, we got to bridge the gap. If Accra has 3,000 beds, then the aim over 8 to 10 years is that every region of similar size population should have 3,000 beds. That's different from the day-to-day running of the regions which will come from the VAT. This infrastructure development, and that will come from a different fund that will be held and planned by the Council of State, not the president and his party. You got to move away from that. We don't have to make development a partisan issue. Development should be a consensus issue at the level of Council of State, where all the states are represented. The state premiers and the state speakers of parliament are there. Governor of Bank of Ghana is there. The Chief Justice is there. The President, the Prime Minister will be there with 5 senior ministers. 6 members of parliament will be there. 3 from government, 3 from opposition. You have all people there, and we all plan how to bridge the gap. It's not like it's election time, then president will go and take money from somewhere, print money, and go and put a useless hospital somewhere where there is no plan even how to fill it. But after the elections, everything is ruined. We are going to do that, and it's fundamental. Our motto is bridging the gap, because that's the problem. Unless you have the same amount of solutes in a solvent, there's going to be what? If you don't have that, you're going to create a diffusion gradient. And that's what happens in Ghana. There's a diffusion gradient all to Accra. And that collapses the periphery and overcongests Accra, as we are having now. If 2 bottles of rain falls in Accra, the place is flooded. It can't continue like that. And at the same time, these people who they come and walk on the streets, kayayes, street girls, people sleep with them, then complicate because they have unwanted pregnancies. Some will try and abort and they die, and those who do not abort, the children walk and they become worse than their parents. We have this vicious cycle of poverty because we are not planning. We've got to re-engineer Ghana so that everybody will have a fair go wherever the person lives.
Okay. Larby Collins posed a question. He said, is it possible each region gets an international airport?
It's not possible and it's not necessary.
Mhm.
Okay. Australia, with the land size 32 times the size of Ghana. If an economy 2 trillion, 40 times the size of Ghana economy, has really only 3 international airports. One in Perth, because that is very far from everywhere. And it accepts all the flight from the west of Australia. And another one in Melbourne and Sydney. Okay, so these are the 3 international airports fundamentally. Of course, we have regional airports and stuff like that. Ghana, population of 30, over that land size mass. If you have, you see, from Perth to Melbourne is farther away than from Accra to Lagos. It's like from Accra to Cameroon. So if there's airport there, that is reasonable. But from Accra to Cape Coast, to Takoradi, if you have good roads, it shouldn't take you anything. Ghana is so small. Ghana is like this. Ghana is the size of Victoria, the whole state of Victoria. Okay, Melbourne alone GDP is 500 billion. Okay, Melbourne alone is like with the whole of West Africa, but Victoria has only one international airport. So if Victoria has one international airport, which is in Melbourne, how can Ghana have 11 international airports? Who is going to go there? All right, so it's not about possibility. It's just totally it's a no-go. We don't need that.
Okay. So I'm going to read the next 2 questions posed by Larby Collins so that you'll understand what he's saying. The first one says this: the ARM message is much clearer to the elites, and this makes it an elite policy. This is what many say. What should be the common message for the ordinary Ghanaian to hook up with the ARM policies? And then he says, the above question is because you need to understand the current system to appreciate this new system.
Yeah, no. The ARM message, in all fairness, is not clearer to the elite. In all fairness, the elite seems to understand everything more than the ordinary person. That's why they are called the elite. So whatever message anybody brings, the elite will grasp it a lot easier. Anything anybody says. But I can tell you that when I explain ARM, what I mean to my grandmother who never sat in class 1, you go, oh, Jomo mean. It's a lot of common sense. The message is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
The message is that what we have today is not working, and that's why people are crying all the time. We want to do a system that we have the same, and the reason why I call it economic federalism is because we are using the key factor of production, which is labor, as the basis of creating the state. Okay, now labor means human beings. So if you have 2 regions, they have the same 9 million people, 9% of people, it means that they have the same labor pool. You're giving all the regions fair number of people to start their economic program. But when one region has 17%, another one has 2%, the difference is so big that there is no way the 2% can compete the 70% when it comes to labor market. What happens is that the 2% will then migrate to come and enjoy what the labor has created in the 70%. And that's the problem of Upper West. Before Rollins came, there was no Upper West. It was just one upper region. Then they divided Upper region into East and West. Do you know what's happened? Upper West by far is the poorest. In the last Living Ghana Standard survey they did in 2018, Upper West was 2.8, now it's 2.9. Let's say 3% of the population. But that place alone had 32% of extreme poverty in Ghana. 3% is having 1/3 of all the poverty, and 97% is sharing the 2/3. Now, when you add Upper East to Upper West, when you add the 2, the form of upper region, just 2 is 50% of extreme poverty. 2 regions. One is 2.8, the other one was 4.2. So 7% held absolutely 50% of all extreme poverty in the whole country. There's something fundamentally wrong. You see, what people don't understand is this. Let me say it slowly. When you have a regional hospital for 9% of the population, and you have another regional hospital for 1.8% of the hospital, you spend more money managing the 1.8 because it doesn't have the benefit of economy of scale. There's something we call fixed cost. Okay, there's something we call fixed cost. Whether you produce 10 or 20, there are some costs which will be fixed. Labor is fixed. The electricity is fixed. The building itself is fixed. And that's the reason why when you go to the supermarket and you see a half a liter Coke, say for $1, you realize that the 1 liter Coke is not $2 because it costs less to produce the 1 liter Coke than to produce 2,500 mils Coke. And that's what we call economy of scale. Because the workers there, they are the same workers there who will be producing the 1 liter Coke and the half a liter Coke. So what it means is that when you are managing small things per unit, it's more expensive to manage small things per unit than for bigger units. So when you have a population of 9.7%, that has been split into 3. And you're going to build 3 regional hospitals, you know that it's going to cost more to run these 3 regional hospitals than if it was 9.7. Okay. Now, that's the reason why in normal countries, no normal country will just get up and create 6 new regions out of 10. No normal country will do that. You increase the number of regions by 60%. Stroke of pen. Where would the money come from to manage the bureaucracy? So, re-engineering. The ordinary Ghanaian, and believe you me, the ordinary Ghanaian understands. I'll give you one single example. When Kwame Nkrumah came to Ghana, December 1947, some Ghana politicians, including one particular one called Solo Dampton, they brought Kwame Nkrumah to come and greet my great-grandfather. Solo is a distant nephew of my great-grandfather. So they brought him to our house. Everybody was there. They spoke highly of him. He's a new general secretary. He's going to help with, running the whatever. Okay. My grandmother, everybody fell in love with Kwame Nkrumah. Okay. Everybody fell in love with Kwame Nkrumah. And the first elections, he won massively. Subsequent ones, he also won. But you know what happened? By 1964, Kwame Nkrumah wanted all Makala women to own a CPP card before they could go and get. My grandma used to be a wax print retailer. That if you do not have CPP card, you start having problems. My grandma told me that, hey, is that what you call freedom? When the white man was here, we didn't need to do anything like this. Why must I have a party card in order to do my business? So immediately, she crossed carpet. Because the policy was going to affect her. Not that she didn't want to be a CP member, but she couldn't see why it must be mandatory. So Ghanaians understand. Trust me. Ghanaians have always understood. The only reason why the country is split between the two parties is because they have never seen anybody who will give them an alternative. What you are saying here, nobody has done that before in the history of Ghana. When I land and I decide to campaign what I'm doing here, and I'm speaking in Ghana, and somebody is speaking in Chi or ever for me, that will be easy peasy. Trust me. And I'm going to talk about what will happen in 2024 if we ever get there. For me, it's very simple. Nobody has said the things I'm saying. Never in the history of Ghana, never in the history of Africa. Okay? The message is very simple. The time will come that will be on the ground and it will be very easy. Because everybody thinks about his or her welfare. And when I tell them that with diagrams, with things, how things are going to look like over 10 years, no lie, you can't do all at once. You give them a timeline. What's going to happen here? How they're going to improve the infrastructure development, the deficit correction, and all those things. It's not going to be complicated at all. The present system is dead. In fact, it died at birth.
Okay, here's the next question from Shika. So will the state appropriate land for the new capital like Nkrumah did for Accra, or will it buy it from local landowners?
The state will have to buy the land. There is no compulsory acquisition with me, because that's theft. That's state theft. All right, you got to pay for the land. There's no free land anywhere. You got to pay for the land. Definitely. No compulsory acquisition.
Okay, and then the final comment comes from B.A. Boateng. Insightful analysis based on data.
Yes. Thank you very much, Asanwa. That's why I said Census and Ecofed. They've brought the figures. All right. They brought the figures. So now I got to use the figures to explain to people why this is the way to go. Why you cannot have 20% or whatever in one region and 1.8. Why would you want to create a region for 1.8 of the population? What is the need for that? I mean, in the recent release domestic revenue collection, of the 92% or 93% of revenue which are collected from the regions, 88.8% from Accra alone. And now these regions that are collecting less than 0.5%. You added them to 3. Which money are you going to use to administer the 3 regions? They can't even pay for their own salaries. So when you take money from all money that have been brought to Accra to go and pay them, what will you use again for the development? It just doesn't make sense. And this president said he took the virus, he took COVID to let him know that there are deficiencies in the system. The health infrastructure is only in Accra. I mean, this man has been in politics from 1977. He didn't know until the virus came. He built regions without thinking of regional hospitals. He created districts without thinking of district hospitals or even polyclinics. Now virus came, he realized that, we are actually empty. So it means that there is no health policy in his plans. And that is why it's going to be put to 2024. Because for the first Ghanaians to know that, no, this is different. So, I don't know, but I think next week, I'll think of what to do. But probably, I'll tell people the way I see 2024.
Okay.
Okay, the way I see it. Because the last time, few people, not one person, maybe 2, 3, 4 people say, Nii, I think you probably have to try and come and organize the small party and independence. I said, no. The small parties and independence, they all got 1% in the last elections. I'm not going to organize 1% people for elections. I'm coming to take half of NDC and half of MPP. That's the only way you can be successful. You don't go and organize 1%. What am I going to do with 1% people? If any of them wants to join, can join. But no, I have no time for that. I'm coming with policy that should be accepted by half of NDC and half of MPP. That's the Kwekwa Nancy way. You know Kwekwa Nancy? Have you heard of Kwekwa Nancy before? Okay.
No.
It's a mythological figure in Ghana's folklore.
Okay.
Yeah. He was giving 2 oranges, okay, with his 2 brothers. Then they asked him, how do you want us to share it? Then he said, the 2 of you get 1 orange each and give me half. So he gave the 2 oranges to his brothers. They said, okay, you give me half of yours and you give me half of yours. Then in the end, they ended up with half and they go one.
One. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the way I look at it. Okay. NDC, I'm taking half from you. NPP, I'm taking half from you. I don't have no interest in 1%. Zero interest. So I'll get one. And they will left with half each.
Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Nii, for this topic. Again, it was the 2021 consensus and Ecofed. Thank you all to those of you who wrote in with your comments and questions. If you're watching for the very first time, just a reminder that Dr. Nii does have a social media presence. These are all of his social media handles. If you don't have time to write them down, that's fine, because all of these will be on his description box on his YouTube channel. As I always say, don't only subscribe, but click the notification bell so that anytime we're getting ready to do a new episode, you'll be notified and you can set your times to be able to watch that. Dr. Nii also has books at the bookstore, his own bookstore here. The Fifth Republic, which you made mention of, will be sold via this particular link here. So you can make a note of that. And he also has his own website, sankofaafrica.com, which is updated quite frequently. So please make sure you log on to that and read his articles. We can further delve into his thoughts and how he sees things with regards to Ghana and the way forward for the future. So, Dr. Nii, thank you very much. Thank you for taking time out of your very obviously busy schedule.
Yeah,
and we'll be with you again.
I'm going back to work. Thank God I'm on call. Hopefully, I'll float around the hospital for the next 1 hour. If nothing happens, I go home and I'll do telephone consultation from home. So it's not too bad.
Okay, that's great. So thank you very much for joining us. Again, we'll be with you next week Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. Ghanaian time, and then you can just adjust yours to wherever you are in the world and you're watching this from. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Colin, Asamoah, Shika, and all those who commented and all those who took their time off to come and watch. We are all doing this for only one reason, for our motherland. Ciao.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you.